I always have to start by saying thank you, God. I hear there's a lot of these perps who they're mocking me because, and it's so easy to kind of put them back into reality. And I do believe in God more than ever. Not because I believe that what's happened to me is something religious. It's purely scientifical, and more specifically, it's technological. Meaning that I am unfortunately a test subject. I understand the truth in regard to what's happening to me, in regard of like what's the benefit from this. I don't delude myself to think that it's something spiritual in the sense of like it's some spiritual being doing that to me. I've accepted the reality that in the development of this actually technology that's being used as a weapon system, maybe at some point it won't be, but we are just being utilized in that fashion for the development of weapon system. Let's just say the technology that is currently used as a weapon system, but can be definitely more than that. But unfortunately for targeting individuals, it's clearly utilized in that way. At least it's used to harm us. Is used to do harm onto us, and is most likely at some point could be used for something beneficial. But we're not at that stage. We're in a stage where this technology is a harmful technology onto us, and we are just test subjects. And that's the truth. It's hard to accept that truth, but that's that. And the government is utilizing men, women, and children for those guinea pigs, for the purpose of utilizing human beings. And what's surrounded you, what's like putting around you, is just the tactics of trying to brainwash you and gaslight you to accepting this false reality. And for me, I fully understand what it is. I accept the foulness of what I'm being put in. And these people have failed. One thing you can fail here. There's only one thing failable here. Nothing else. Because we are people who are test subjects who can do nothing about what's happening to us. At least most of us, we don't have the financial means to protect ourselves from that. We're truly helpless in that sense. And so we're just going to endure. But one thing I know, that's something I was able to combat and resist, and it was kind of easy. And I think it's because of me believing in God. I've always prayed, God, give me the strength of the horror I'm going to deal with, but most importantly, expose these clowns for what they are, unmask them. And they've been unmasked in the most disturbing way. They even try to combat that. It's so bad. But the way they combat that is to try to like act in this fear, like try to use fear and torture, and like I can run to it. They've made me a fanatical human being. I'm listening to like whipping noise and all this, like I know who's doing this whipping noise. Please understand that. I know the foulness of who's doing this noise campaign. I know their missions, and I said that word specifically. I'm a test subject. They're playing my brain in ways that are so degrading, and then they want me to identify with this. The people who involve themselves in that are very opportunistic. I'm sure the profitability of them participate in this is high, but I'm sure even just being involved in that, the insight they can get out of involving themselves in technology that can do what this technology can do is, who knows, maybe priceless. The government is using us to continuously advance this technology, this program, these tactics, and they contract these clowns. I don't know if they contracted in the sense of like getting paid, or even they will even want to participate just because the insight of what this technology can provide to them in regard of like the human brain being manipulated in this way, the body can be manipulated in this way, and so the insight from that can be profitable for them. But the way they just try to paint this thing as what it is versus what it actually is comical. It's truly comical. Targeting individual, as soon as you find out about the testimonials of all the targeting individual, you fully understand how foul this low life are. The gimmicks that are presented to you are gimmicks. and they can come in all shape and form, and they're all gonna do this accordingly. It's all gonna be orchestrated in ways that you think that this truly was happening to you. Is don't this program is so well orchestrated and controlled with technology that you can't even understand how advanced it is. Yeah, I'm thinking about, like, this is insane that the advancement of this technology is that to that level. But I guess I never actually looked into it in the past. The only reason why I know about this thing is because I'm a test subject. I've never been somebody into conspiracy theory or governmental technology advancement. I didn't even know about DARPA before. What's DARPA? I didn't know there's like a defense advanced research program agency or project agency that specializes in like all technological advancements of the defense department. And the things that came from there, oh my gosh. Everything that you see in the mainstream at some point was coming from DARPA, the GPSs, the internet, all this stuff. It's something that just moved from the defense environment to the mainstream. And to see what they were working on so long ago, in the 60s, 65, looking at how to alter human mind, and what they were able to do already. Obviously, I was not curious enough in the past to think about that, and why would I think about that? I didn't even know about like MK Ultra stuff. Well, I didn't even pay too much attention. It's like, oh, okay, like, whatever. It's just some weird story, like project happening. Not looking into what they were able to really do. So today I'm in this, and now I find out that, first of all, I'm not only the only person there. They do these things to men, to women, and to children all around the world. This is global, and a lot of us say the same thing. It becomes so like, it's like uniformed. It's like literally we all say the same story in some version of fashion. And so once you discover that, it's like, oh, this is what they're doing, and because it's almost easy to predict what they're doing. But then they have this ecosystem of these perps who try to disorient you. With me, they try to play like, first of all, they do this manipulation, which they do to other target individuals. I've said it many times. This is not unique to me. If you are not, as a target individual, experiencing that, know that others are. Many others. So many. There's been, like, somebody like a Robert Duncan has collected enough surveying of target individuals saying the same things, that it becomes more like of another uniform tactic. But then they want you to identify with this. And they always have these ways of defaming, slandering the target individual the same way. This pedophile type of torture is not a torture only, but they also try to paint the target individual as that, slandering them in that fashion. And then paint themselves as the protectors of children, of the community, when in reality they are the fucking trash that are a threat to children. And I've been credible. What's been credible in the sense of like the validation of that nature, is scared me. Like I said, I've never believed in this, like, like, what was it, the Bill Gates Pizza Gate or so, whatever. I never believed in these things in the first place. I've never been a conspiracy theory in this way. I know I heard about Epstein, but I was like, okay, that's just one of, you never thought about it. But Epstein is not even the worst thing. This is something that the level of issue when it comes to pedophilia is way past that. Actually, finding out that bills were introduced because the Department of Defense was having so much issue with employees downloading child porn using DoD computers, and they were ranked as top tier child porn trafficker in the United States. And to understand that that's real, it's amazing. I feel like fiction or reality is worse than fiction. Fiction does not do justice to reality. This Pizzagate thing, the reality is even worse than that. And for that to be exposed in that nature, that means it's worse than that. Clearly, they're not going to unveil everything. But that alone, just what's been validated, called out by Child Protective Service, by this bill that was introduced because Child Protective Services called that out, as they try to negate. It's disturbing for me to have all this knowledge, like, oh my gosh, this is happened. And then to add to that, the BuzzFeed article that came out in 2022 calling out the intelligence community for the issue of pedophilia, child abuse, and things by these intelligence community agents. It's just like, gosh. And then you go into the program. Oh my gosh. Now, before I go into the manipulation as they do manipulate my brain right now, you're going to clearly hear that this is happening to children. They're torturing children in this thing. They are harming children in ways that's so degrading. Now, this ecosystem around me wants me to not see this thing as that. Can you imagine what it does to a target individual? That this is the reality they want to negate from? No, it's not going to happen. There's no slashes or lashes or killing or burning that's going to block that out. I'll run to that before I let you live your fantasy. I've never been somebody who's been able to just compose myself and let that happen like that. Even if it costs me more sufferance. Never going to happen. Things are already done for me. Why would I not just stand for that then? And then on top of that, this manipulation, going back to that. Right now, they make me think about it, about children, and just give me stimulation, whatever, from the people who introduced that bill to they just try to combat what I'm saying. And the perps around me want me to think I'm not being manipulated, that they're just protecting children. With all these things I already know about what they do to children, how these entities are from with these pedophilia issues, and how they commonly utilize this technology to rewire the brain in degrading ways to break that target individual down. This noise campaign that you hear is because they try to box in what's happening to my brain. This is the ecosystem that's created to brainwash the target individual down. I will not allow these people to live this fantasy. Now with me, to make me subscribe to this, they try to make me think, no, but what you did there when you were a child, this happened there. They falsify memories. They bring up when I was going to the nightclub and be like, yeah, I remember mission and this and that. Mission trash us. When in reality, they just rewiring me, try to bring out what they can. Talk about, no, but nightclub, you did this. I was like, okay. One thing you're going to clearly hear about this program is how they torture and abuse women and children. It is so diabolical. It's disgusting. What's more diabolical is the ecosystem around me, because they want to be perceived as the protector of children and women. They're trying to negate that. It's so foul. That's why you add the rage to the target individual, because not only you're involved in the program that's but on top of that, you want to negate that and negate the horror and the torture and who knows how many are dying. Okay, that doesn't fuel me. And on top of that, they tell me how they're going to frame me. Listen, this trash. Listen, I'm not perfect. I know who I am. I know my perversion. They're just twisting it into children. Everything they try to flip it. And the funny part is, like, for example, they make me think, oh, but when you were with this woman, this person was on the eat. It's like, no, so that's how you're twisting things. It's like, no, but you shouldn't be doing that with this woman. This is not. It's like, oh, shit. Do what you need to do. And I'm talking about like other things that I'm talking about, like, oh, is, to be a woman and do this and pay this, like, hey, I don't care about that. You involved in a program that's there burning vagina and torturing women, you gonna give me the morality of that nature? You delusional trash. I'm all for that. If you do that, do this for you. But for them to try to bring that up, it's like, you know that you are involved in something that kills women. They look for what they even have the audacity to try to be like, no, but you see, you paid for this, and they're like, sure, God, listen. You have no shame to bring that up when you know what you, man, this, This should be actually legal, and I don't care about that. But listen to how you harm these women and children. Then you falsify the stories to make them people I was with to be children, so you can play off like the protector of children. Yeah, right. They tell me they're framing me right now, and they want me to accept the stories. What you're saying here is what's so disgusting. This disturbs me so much. You'll see me going on a date. Actually, I was on a date with this woman. The woman was a few years older than me. And I'm talking to her, and I realize everybody I interact with are actually perps. But I'm talking to her, we're having this back and forth, just having a date. I know she's a perp. And I don't know, I decided to just turn around because I'm facing, she's facing I'm facing the wall in front of me, and that's her. And I don't know, I just turn around, and when I turn around, I see some teenage kid with some attitude, like a very young teenage kid, like 13, 14, and she has attitude and full of makeup. It was weird. It's like, why do you have all that makeup? All kind of makeup. Like, what? And she's like, attitude. I'm like, what is? Oh, I was like, oh, they've been telling me they're gonna frame me with children. And I'm like, oh, are you gonna try to? Oh, okay. You want to make it look like I'm actually on a date with this child behind me, who's with her family, by the way. You're going to see that 4 of them there, sitting there. Looks like the mother, and looks like maybe some family members. There are 2 of them, a father or a man and a woman. They're sitting behind us. So, and I'm looking at my date, who's like a few years older than me. I was like, oh, okay. So I'll be right back. I need to use the restroom. I grab my phone. And that's where you see this footage. I come out of the bathroom. As I come out of the bathroom, first of all, I notice, and now I'm noticing when I go through the videos, I notice there's some lady in the bar, at the bar by herself. And this woman, now looking back, she kind of reminds me of the people of this psyop of a facade that put the battery on this kid's back. This is the kind of woman you're supposed to think that she's a decent woman. She look like a regular, and I don't want to bring race, but like just a regular woman who's just like a decent human being. Talking Vigil, one thing is for sure, I'm just so thankful. I'm thankful that in this lifetime, this is not the life I lived. I've been saying there's a group of people who put the battery in the back of these children, who then they think that it's normal because people like her are involved in this. The truth, they come in all shape or form. They can look like criminals. Actually, like I said, I prefer seeing a person who is a criminal, who this and that is not perfect. Because at least this criminal, if he's going to stab me, he's going to do this or all that to me. He knows he's not going to play like he's this innocent person. He's going to do, he's going to do his harmful things. But he could do that to anybody. These people are worse. Because they want to involve themselves in this way, be the foul life that they are, but still be presented as somebody who's a good person. Like, get the fuck out of here, you nasty trash. You're worse than whoever is going to stab me or whatever you tell me is going to happen to me. And then on top of that, you're the reason why this retard of children think that what they're involved in is okay, is good. You think that they think because shit like you normalize this, that is the norm. And I'm like, okay. Well, I feel honorable in this. Let me expose these clowns that was supposed to be exposing me. They've been humiliated by so many stuff. And so I walk out and I'll go on my date thing. And you can hear some of it. But what disturbed me is seeing this woman. What I'm being told is like they're gonna say like we're gonna be witnesses to say that you were, and they're gonna say this, that we saw you having a date with this child, the child that's sitting with her parents or whoever is a family member there. You see who my date over there is, the black woman all the way there that is sitting by herself. That's obviously who I'm walking toward. They say that they're gonna make it look like I was with this kid because they're framing me with these children. And you know how they call it? It's the daring things to do. They're protecting children that way. Fucking nasty trash. It's like, yeah, we know you now. I was like, yeah, okay. This credibility of these pedophiles are just this has destroyed these clowns. These gimmicks. If I find it so honorable to know the reality, to know who destroyed my life, who put me in this program, because once you put in this program, that's when life is destroyed. The rest after that is just, it's over the second you got put in this program. For most of us, at least, not many of us are gonna survive this. That's the truth. Some will, unfortunately, many of us won't. I'm not here to make this video to demoralize anybody, but that's the reality. I have accepted this reality. For you, Target Vision, fight till the end. I don't want you to give up. Fight till the end. You could be the one that survived this, or the few that have survived this. But fight till the end. I don't want you to give up. I'm not saying that to give up, for you to give up. I'm not saying for anybody to give up. But I have accepted the reality. And the truth is, for me, I find this death honorable. Because there's children dying in this program. There's many suffering in this program. It won't be fair if I survive. I'm surviving this, and kids are dying in this. So for me, when I pray, and that's what I do to give me strength, I ask God, give me strength for the horror I'm going to deal with. But before that, unmask these fuckers. Expose these clowns for the true shit that they are. Excuse my language. Let them be seen for the true opportunists that they are, not this facade they try to paint it themselves as. And it has happened. I have had the validation that surpassed this. It's so crazy. They weren't supposed to be like, yeah, we're just the fierce, we're framed because we're fierce feminists. Pooh. We know that today's new wave of feminism has been discredited in so many ways. Matter of fact, perhaps that's why Trump won. And let me just say this: I'm progressive. Of course, I'm for feminism, the real stuff. Not feminism that's conveniently become feminism when it's convenient for them, when it's profitable for them, when they can get some kind of benefits or profits from it. This is psyops. That's it. It's for sale. You get something out of it, that's why you something. But you join something where you know so many women and children are dying in this. Yeah, then you play the feminist, disgusting F. And then like, no, we support you. You only support the entity that destroyed them, destroy women. Coward trash. I will never allow them. And by the way, talking about unmasking these clowns, target individuals who are women have clearly mentioned there's a lot of female participating that we admit it, like we're a different type of females that would are feminists. Yeah, right, you're the worst type. Because you want to be involved in that, but play the feminine, disgusting trash. Just enjoy what you're involved in for what it is and be accountable for what you joined. They love this thing because they can get so much out of it and they enjoy it. Do you know what the things that can make me experience? The thought process, the manipulation. I can clearly hear them enjoying feeling like puppeteers. That's the truth. That's fun. I enjoy that fun for what it is. And fully enjoy it the way you need to enjoy it, but don't come up with it, yeah, we're there because it's the rage. Yeah, right, it's the rage of people involved in the program that kill babies, you fucking low life. Just rewiring the brain and play the feminine disgusting trash. It's like, now we proved it. It's like we proved that this pedophilia type of tormenting is real. But we proved it to other who benefit from this. They've been so discredited. It's like, yeah, right. You're known to do the pedophilia type of torture, and the entities developing this technology, now this fake ass psyop presented to us, are top tier pedophiles, you fucking clown. They're like, no, it's our research. The research of yeah, right. It's the research of developing this technology that can alter your brain and the body and destroy you. And the fact that you have children pretending to get raped just kind of discredit you even more. When I see this woman, for me, that woman brings me up to all these perps who've been acting like they're doing it for children. They look like a decent woman, right? Decent woman who cares, and I don't even want to bring race, but some of it, they have like a little entitlement based on that too. I swear, guys, I've seen women like that. Just as I'm listening to how they torture women, she looked at me and said, "I want." I'm like, what the fuck? Basically, what she's saying is like, as a woman, a good woman with children, I won't do anything about it. It's like, no, trash. I'm playing this because I know that's what you guys are involved in. I hate you for being involved in this and covering that up. You piece of shit, you entitled low life that you want. You think I'm trying to get to your good heart? You fucking delusional shit. Who you think you are? You won't. I'm saying you deserve to die, shit. It is so disgusting. It's like, you won't. Wait, you think I'm saying that because I want you to help me? I'm saying that you're involved in that, and you should be accountable for what you participate in, not what you want to create this thing as. Then act like you're protecting children, you fucking trash. I see you for what you're involved in and for what you're part of. You're so delusional. I hate you for truly what you're negating, not even what you're doing to me, because you're nothing. I know you're a nobody, but you're a nobody who wants to be involved in this and try to act like you're in some kind of thing that protects children. On top of that, I know I'm being manipulated. I'm supposed to be gaslighted by shit like you. That's what you're involved in. I know who I am. A clown like you, no matter how you present yourself, will never make me identify in any ways in what this nastiness is doing to me. And on top of that, to add the cherry on top of everything, knowing that you're involved in something that actually harms children. And the entities are, okay, you won't, clown. Of course you won't. But I will. Target individual, be strong. There'll be people of all walks of life involving themselves in that. There'll be men, there'll be women, there'll be children. From all races, black, white, Asian, whatever. Whoever is more entitled than whoever, it doesn't even matter. But I understand that do not identify with this. These perps have a mission, like they like to say, to negate the reality of what this is about, and they truly are finding the ways, the best tactics to zero in the target individual, to make him identify with the manipulation, to make him perceive the program as something else but what it is. And there's no shame. It's time to be strong, target individual. You cannot be brittle-minded. And I mean that in a sense of like subscribing to these things. My body is very brittle, extremely brittle. And things are going to be brutal for me because can you imagine putting this trash, the mirror that they need to have in their face, and make sure they see themselves for the shit that they are? Oh, they want to make me pay for that. That's what they want to make me pay for. It's been provoking that I didn't let them do what they wanted to do to me in their fantasized way. I'm so glad. And some woman was making fun of me. It's like, oh, this next lifetime, because I'm thinking, oh, maybe in my next lifetime I'll live a normal life. But I'm so glad that in this lifetime I didn't compromise myself in that level. The clownery that you deal with, the gimmicks that comes from people who have no shame, how discredited they are. And then I can say the name of a man who allegedly was raping 14-year-old kids. And because this person is not a nobody, I don't know why, when I say that name is a name that they get scared of. The day I'm no longer employed at this place, I will show how bad it is. I was on the call, this woman was laughing about me and this and that. I was like, yeah, because they want me to make me, first of all, the people who put me in this program, the reason why I know that name in the first place is who destroyed my life. It's a company who put me in this program. This privately owned company is not a small company. They are big movers and shaker in regard of politics. Not that their company has anything to do with politics. They just invest and donate so much money in the politics that they stand for, and it's extremely, extremely conservative. And it's been a legacy of that nature. Oh, today I'm being presented by this feminist and this and that. Pfft, clowns. As I say that, they try to mess with me because I did the handshake there, like a head movement, and they try to change into something else. That's how they rewire reality. These people are so anti-progressiveness that even in the grandfather was in this GBS thing, this John Birch Society that was big in the 50s and the 60s, I guess, going against civil rights. The first movement of, like, the 70s movement of, not the first, but the 70s movement of feminism. You know, that movement that was able to go through get abortion right, Roe versus Wade. That first one, yeah, against civil rights of the 60s, against the abortion rights of the 70s. All kind of, that's the grandfather. The father, the son of the grandfather, is like the new wave. The new wave of that, which is like MAGA, but you know, MAGA. I think MAGA is not even as. I think the GBS was worse than MAGA, but big time, far right, even worse than MAGA. Matter of fact, where the grandfather failed, the father succeeded. He donated money to flip Roe versus Wade. Now, of course, abortion is still happening, but to be able to do that, to win something that was established in the 70s, just show you how I mean, who really won here. Now, I was working for this company, extremely conservative. I should have known my audience when I was asking about, like, this place we should all be able to work, no matter what. I feel stupid talking about, but I was already putting this program before that. Now I'm putting this program. What's presented to me is the opposite of that. I wonder if they try to just counter who put me in this program, while they benefit from what they're part of. But it's so obvious who destroyed my life. And today, because I keep bringing up who actually destroyed my life, they're like, "Oh, we're gonna see you in hell," and this and that. And I expect worse of the worst. But the truth is, when you're already in a terminal state of life, my health is terminal. I know. Matter of fact, I know they're elonging my life. I know they are pacing down my killing to drag it longer. That loses a little bit of the impact that they try to rewire my brain. It loses the impact because it's like telling somebody who has cancer, terminal ill, like at the end. It's like, "You're gonna torture you, you're gonna be through hell," and this and that. It's like, I'm dying already. You see how that doesn't hit the same way? You see how it doesn't affect the same way? You're just doing that because you just try to paint the picture of your fantasy. That you're like, "You're making me pay," and this and that, when the truth is, you just participate in this because you want to benefit from this. This trash here, this woman involved in this program, she's involved in something that's so disgusting, destroys life of women and children. And then she gives this child retards here the battery they have to feel like they're being thanked by people like that. That is their purpose in life. Huh. And they tell me, "Now we're making you pay for what you guys are kids." These people are here torturing infants. Infants. That's why you hear the noise campaign. They try to negate that. Infants. That's this ecosystem is supposed to negate. And they want me to let that be the norm. Okay. For all who've died in this program, from the babies to the women, I will not allow this trash to escape in that fantasy. And the way they rewire me just to play the protectors of children and women, they will never be subscribed to. And this participant that got benefit from participating in that, and for me, if I told you the current employer and what industry they're involved in, I'm like, out of everybody, those who participate, these people in participating in that, oh my gosh, how much profit you could have gotten out of this. Now, wherever I would have worked, this would happen, because I did work some other places and noticed something happening and I left immediately. But that's before I knew what target vigil was. But ending up here is so aligned with who would benefit so much. I will reveal that. I will expose that. Because this industry is in critical need of human subjects. And I understand why this Q rage is like that. Take me, Joe. You're lucky. In one way. Your sufferance is not gonna be good. Please be strong, and I pray for you. But you could be living life like this coward low life. In this participate in this very facilitate evil. It doesn't take any bravery of any sort to do what they do. Matter of fact, they just diminish everything about them. But I will not allow these clowns involved in this, doing this evilness to women, to men, to children, and then play the protectors of women and children. Stay strong.
Put your bag on the floor? No way.
Is it bad or is she not gonna float? But I don't care about it. You look good, huh? Don't worry, don't need check your mirror. C'est très belle. T'inquiète.
Putting your bag on the floor.
Talk about what some of these allegations are. And really, the big story behind this CIA report, well, one of the stories is the lack of story. The fact that BuzzFeed reported on this, good for them. But obviously, it was covered up by intelligence agencies, and it has not been reported on widely. The Federalist reported on it. Some other journalists talked about it, but you probably didn't even hear about it. I only heard about it the other day, several days after it had been originally reported. And the fact that this isn't a huge bombshell that everyone is talking about is really disturbing. What is it? Are we just used to this kind of child sexual abuse? Has it become normalized? Has it become sterilized in some way that we just don't really want to talk about it? I do also wonder if any mention of pedophilia in the ranks of the intelligence world, or in the ranks of the government, or in the powers that be, has been so cleverly associated with conspiracy theory over the past several years. And part of it is because there are conspiracy theorists, like QAnon conspiracy theorists, who push ridiculous things that have also made it more difficult for people to raise actual allegations of pedophilia and sex trafficking and child sex abuse. But I do wonder if some propagandists in the media have done such a good job of tying any allegations of sex trafficking and pedophilia to conspiracy theories that most people just don't want to talk about it because they don't want to be seen as some Pizzagate QAnon person. And that in itself is evil. But the fact of the matter is that this is something that is going on. This is something that has gone on. So the loss of credibility that intelligence agencies have garnered over the past several years is something that they have brought on themselves. And this is the straw on the camel's back.
Experimental fact. Frog muscle contract physical.
The child porn on the Pentagon servers.
Come on.
Bro, supposedly they found more child porn on the Pentagon servers than they found on any servers,
Could there be
consistently watched space however you want, and you certainly don't have the right to use it in a criminal manner. So essentially, this bill is trying to
is a shameful disgrace, and one we must fight head-on, Spanberger said in a statement. According to child pornography watchdog Internet Crimes Against Children Child Online Protective Services, the Defense Department network consistently ranks in the top tier of Internet service providers for trafficking child pornography. It ranked 19th of nearly 3,000 networks surveyed in 2018. Meta
Agency. Others also work at this, for instance, the National Security Agency, the National Reconnaissance Office, and the very secretive Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency. Others also work.
Two-year-old and a 6-year-old. He was simply fired. One employee purchased sexually explicit videos of young girls filmed by their mothers. He resigned. One employee estimated that he had viewed up to 1,400 sexually abusive images of children while on agency assignments. Not sure what actions, if any, were taken by him. One contractor arranged for sex with an undercover FBI agent. I think that you mentioned that. Posing as a child, he had his contract revoked. One CIA staffer was charged with child sexual crimes, and the employee was also under investigation for mishandling classified material. But sexual crimes involving children, says BuzzFeed, including the viewing of images of abuse, have been uncovered at other agencies that handle sensitive information. In a November 2009 report, the Department of Defense acknowledged that dozens of Pentagon staff members or contractors had such images. In 2014, the Inspector General of the Intelligence Community found that 2 officials from the National Reconnaissance Office, which oversees America's spy satellites, acknowledged viewing images of child sexual abuse during polygraph examinations. This is so disturbing. At a symposium in 2016, Daniel Payne, a top Pentagon security official, said that when workers' computers were examined, the amount of child porn I see is just unbelievable. Is this something that is happening in the general evil?
Allie, we're told, and when I was put through recruitment into the intel community, you're put through polygraphs, you're put through a rigorous selection process. Why aren't these people weeded out? Why are so many pedophiles allowed to be given top-level security clearance? Remember, these aren't just people walking in off the street and saying, hey, can I get hired? Can I get a job? You're put through an extremely rigorous background check screening process. It's called an SSBI, single scope background investigation. There are people, they interview you, they interview your family, they interview your contacts, they go through your online footprint, they go through everything. So why is it that when they're going through these footprints, they're not checking, these digital footprints, they're not checking for so many pedophiles getting through their ranks? If it were up to me, you need to go into Congress, and Congress needs to launch a brand new church committee, number one, to talk about domestic surveillance operations, but number two, to ask the question, why are there so many pedophiles sitting behind
the CIA raping children and sexually assaulting children? And they're not being prosecuted? Where are you?
Has come under investigation for links to the proliferation of graphic material. Called Project Flicker, some 5,000 individuals have been identified as having subscriptions to child porn sites, including many DoD-affiliated persons. So this ongoing national investigation has now prompted the House to introduce a bipartisan bill that would help the DoD stop the use of its network to, quote, possess, procure, or produce child pornography. Joining us to discuss this, investigative journalist Ben Swan. So Ben, the Pentagon already takes measures to limit worker access to stuff like porn by rolling out what they call the Personal Electronic Device PED policy, where workers have to drop off their phones and lockers before entering their offices. All their online searches are accessible by security if or when needed. Their Wi-Fi access is monitored in digital security sweeps. So how is this happening?
Well, it's happening because even though there is a certain amount of limitation on access, those who are working in the Department of Defense, clearly it appears to be thousands of individuals in the Department of Defense, are finding ways around this, specifically by using the Department of Defense IP addresses and also apparently peer-to-peer sharing within the department's network. So this study that was done on this issue, and it is pretty horrifying, Manila, to consider this. It shows that the Department of Defense ranked 19th out of almost 3,000 networks in terms of peer-to-peer sharing of child pornography. That is absolutely incredible. This bill attempts to essentially say, look, we're not doing enough to stop it from coming in, but we're also not doing enough in the Department of Defense to go after those individuals who are being recognized as the ones who are perpetrating this.
So Congresswoman Abigail Spanberger is the co-author to this bill. She said this, quote, "The notion that the Department of Defense's network and Pentagon-issued computers may be used to view, create, or circulate such horrifying images is a shameful disgrace and one we must fight head-on." Now, the fact that the Pentagon workers, be they civil or military or otherwise, already submit to a gauntlet of daily scrutiny just going in and out of work, is it fair then to the tens of thousands who are completely innocent to further allow that much more government intrusion into their, their digital devices or the things that they're dealing with on their computers?
Well, remember that what's being talked about here is not an intrusion into someone's personal device or even their home. This is about saying Department of Defense computers are being misused to share, to spread, to access child pornography. And when you step into an office, whether it's a Department of Defense office or it's the offices at RT America, wherever you go into an office, you do not
made to smell various things.
Microwave radiation to control human behavior. To control the brain. In 1965, DARPA launched Project Pandora, which studied the possibility of using microwave radiation to control human behavior. The project reportedly ended in 1969, but DARPA's investigation of how machines can affect and possibly control the brain continues to this day. Human mind can be altered. In 1965, DARPA launched Project Pandora, which studied the possibility of using microwave radiation to control human behavior.
Of innocent citizens being controlled by government-sanctioned experiments? Is Cheryl Welch telling the truth, or are her claims absurd? Just another conspiracy theory that's impossible to prove? Maybe. But not if you listen to Nick Begich.
I think there's some good evidence that Cheryl Welch and many of the other people I've spoken with have been victimized by this electromagnetic mind control experiments. The weapons of this century aren't bombs and bullets and ordnance, but electromagnetic energy targeting the human being, which is a greatest revolution in military affairs since gunpowder.
Begich is an expert in government mind control. He is convinced the Pentagon has mastered a technology once thought to be science fiction, the ability to broadcast information directly into the human brain.
Our government began spending a lot of time looking at how to modify behavior of human beings. Going back to the Korean War, in fact, in a publication, Low Intensity Conflict in Modern Technology, they have a chapter on electromagnetic weapon systems, being able to not just debilitate someone, but actually even to stimulate certain activities within the brain.
But how?
HARP is the High Frequency Active Auroral Research Project, which started as a joint effort of the Air Force and Navy. This is a very large array or field of antennas based in Alaska, radio frequency antennas.
HARP antennas transmit powerful radio signals into the upper atmosphere to study the effects on wireless communications. But Begich says HARP can also be used for more sinister ends.
HARP has announced several other programs and campaigns, and there's two areas that I got very concerned about. One was weather modification applications. The other was the effect on human beings. If you can modulate a signal that the brain locks onto, recognizes, and begins to mirror or follow the frequency following response. The brain rhythms change, then it creates a chemical cascade within the brain and the emotions change. Now the resolution gets finer and finer and finer. And it used to just to be about triggering emotions. You could change people's brain chemistry pretty readily, change their emotional state pretty easily. But when you get down to the idea of thoughts and being able to manipulate those, that requires a different kind of sophistication.
It's called offensive information radiation, non-ionizing radiation for the use of cognitive control or behavior control. I've submitted a paper to you, and there's another paper submitted to each member from another physician in Kansas City, alluding to the same thing. You do that, you can control them using neuro-linguistic programming techniques. You're rewiring their thought processes and brains. And so this gets into what's called offensive information warfare. And they used it, I believe, in the Gulf War. You can call it a eugenics program even. But also walk them to their... They want to see if they can... Hyper game theory. How do you... They want to see if they can manipulate people to do things that are irrational, but also walk them to their death. And so you can call it a eugenics program even. And they need to sample all cultures, language throughout the world to define their probability matrices of which tricks, techniques, deception works. So how do you control a brain? Most people don't believe that. Well, you can't control me. I have my own free will.
V2K, or voice to skull. This involves the projection of voices, noises, and music directly into my mind to communicate with me in real time and at the speed of thought. And it also includes the manipulation of thoughts, emotions, and perceptions in the person's mind. Additionally, the targeting is all highly perverted and sexual, as well as just
It is dramatic. It's somebody trying to end my life. It's somebody trying to end who I am as a person. It's somebody trying to take over my mind, putting thoughts of pedophiles. Like, this disgusting things. You saw where I was going with that first word. Disgusting things that I don't even want to talk about because it makes me sick. I don't even like those words in my mind. But it is what it is. So I have no choice now but to acknowledge that there are people in my surroundings or whatever they're doing. I don't know how they do it. I don't care. I don't know if it's through weapons. I don't know. I don't care.
This is a common breakdown tactic of belief systems and the human will. In no-touch torture, the techniques are more psychologically specialized for each target. Most common examples include homosexual targets that are forced with voices that are derogatory to their lifestyle and similar mental images. Almost all targets are forced to view child pornography in their minds. And vice versa.
They use these monarch-style torture programs, like it's based on sex and trauma. So they're gonna traumatize you, they're gonna use your libido to get back at you, and
this technology can be used to sexually manipulate the target. It can make the target feel sexual arousal.
Experience what is referred to as malodorance. This is the alteration of the smell sensation so that I am often made to smell various things, including smoke, burning, dirty diaper, or baby powder, which they sometimes combine with the pedophilia type of torture, including the threat of planted dreams and form of torture. They coordinate the voice. I really mean extreme. I experienced an entire night with forced spontaneous orgasms repeatedly all through the night, one right after another, with maybe around 1 hour of sleep or so, as I lay immobilized in my bed.
In my mind, I can hear my own voice. I told them I'm going to make you pay for all of the years of torture that I've taken, and all you are going to me and my family. Ben said the slaves began a program of perversion. First was with my dog. I am very playful with my pet, and suddenly one day that I was petting him I felt strange, in the sense of the word. I thought, this is strange, and then afterwards that strange sensation continue. Then in that moment I realized that was impost, so I thought, look at this losers, don't know how to put me down, and they are doing this. So I told them that I know what you are trying to do, and I started laughing, and then I said again out loud, you'll never take my will, ASS, so just to show them that I meant what I said, I kept playing with my dog, and even though that attacks continue, I don't let them get me. Information is written.
Pedophilia type of images and videos. I also often see highly disturbing pornographic images and videos, including highly disturbing pedophilia type of images and videos when I close my eyes.
Be my guess that this person developed delusional disorder. This is a paranoid schizophrenia. But first of all, nobody develops paranoid schizophrenia in the 50s, in their 50s. This is, if you haven't developed it by 30, it's not. Then this technology exists. These nefarious programs exist. And it's hard to imagine for a person that why would you do something like this? But if you think about the new type of warfare,
cognitive warfare.
Exactly. It's a cognitive warfare. You don't have to kill people that you are fighting against. You can just degrade their brain. You can,
you alter their minds.
Yeah, alter their minds.
Personalities.
And it's like Chinese torture. I mean, okay, so.
So this gets into creating Manchurian candidates, split personality, and information curtains, satanic ritual. Okay, so they'll say we're the Russian government, we're the Chinese government, we're evil aliens, we're Satan's. So they'll say we're the V2K. So they'll say we're the Russian government, we're the Chinese government, we're evil aliens, we're Satan's, satanic ritual abuse. And I've heard all these stories. One guy believed it was some 14-year-old kid with an Xbox that lived next door. The trickery really is that great when you're under hypnosis that people will believe something other than a massive government could do this.
It's already being
going through the same thing.
Help us end this crime against humanity.
which has impacted men, women, children all around the world.
Hi, I'm Wan from Malaysia. My family are targeted individuals. We are victims of cyber torture. And I will not give up. I will fight to the end.
And I'm a victim of organized
We
stalking,
need this to stop.
electronic
That's it.
harassment, and I'm speaking to you on International Targeted Individual Day. I live in the U.S., in Illinois, and I'm a victim of organized
We
stalking,
need this to stop.
electronic
That's it.
harassment, microwave torture,
I've been targeted for 9 years.
24/7.
Please become more aware of this crime and those that the crime is being committed against. We need your support and help in ending this crime.
Hello, my name is Wendy Brown. I'm a targeted individual who is living in New Zealand, but my targeting began in California. I'm an American citizen, and the targeting continues in New Zealand. I'm making this video in remembrance of Targeted Individual Day, our third annual Targeted Individual Day. And I'm asking that every honest-hearted human being open their eyes to a crime.
My name is Jeanette. I am 56 years old and I live in Baltimore, Maryland. I am a victim of covert electronic harassment and torture. I am a targeted individual.
Hello.
Why? Because it hurts. I need help. I need you guys to come get me. It's brutally painful. I have a house, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms.
Ms. Catherine Nestor.
My name is Catherine Nestor, and I'm from Pennsylvania. This commission has spoken of a long history of abuse of the human research subject. Although no one mentioned MKUltra today, President Clinton recently apologized for this. My young child and I have been used as non-consensual test subjects. We have been subjected to COINTELPRO-like stalking, remote neural monitoring, and electromagnetic torture, resulting in psychological and physical damage. And I won't go into the details of that because I have 4 pages written in here that is very similar to Connie's testimony. Please do not wait 70 years to investigate this. I ask Dr. Amy Gutman to begin today.
I am currently a speech-language pathologist working in private practice with young children. I had a 7-year-old client who has autism, and she was the most significantly affected of all of my clients. I eventually had to tell this client to go to another clinic, and they used her to threaten the most torture in me as well as their most extreme forms of torture. For several months, she would cry and scream horribly during our therapy sessions despite having a great day at school. This was highly unusual behavior for her, as she usually behaved very well during her therapy sessions. I observed her gasping for air a few times in the same way that I do when I am being more severely suffocated. The suffocation had been in a mild state for a while up until this point. Many of their torture methods are cyclical in severity. Right after I saw this child being suffocated, then I began to experience very extreme suffocation all day, every day, for about 2 months straight, and that's also when they made it worse when I eat. Then I also work with a 4-year-old little girl with Down syndrome, as well as her 5-year-old sister who also has Down syndrome. I observed both of these girls suddenly grabbing their genitals in pain and verbalizing, "ow." I observed this at least on 1 or 2 occasions for each of them during their separate sessions. During one session, I observed one of my 3-year-old clients suddenly grab his crotch and lean forward in his chair. And then he made a frightening grimace of severe
and have had a decent education. I live in El Dorado Hills, California,
with my wife of 14 years, Lorna, and our 5 children.
Stalkers.
And coin some.
Even presidents get prosecuted if they commit crimes. But the reality is, my government has protected my abusers and even caused them to abuse me. And that since I was a child, when I was a child. And just like feeling like those ugly, helpless feelings, like I couldn't protect myself when I was 5, and like feeling like a lot hasn't changed since then, and some things have changed, you know, some things have changed, but just like those feelings of helplessness, of like not being able to really help myself. Looking at myself in the camera is helping, but I'm having bad PTSD. Just that mostly means that, well, I guess it's not regular PTSD because the back of my neck is being vibrated on and it's making my hands and feet numb and my whole body shake. And I revert to like some mentality of like a 4 or 5-year-old. I don't think it's PTSD, but I don't know what else to call it exactly. I just feel vibrations on my head and my voice, and my thoughts aren't like a person my age when this happens to me. But I just feel afraid. And I don't know what to do, and I wish this would stop happening to me, and I wish that I was allowed to have help and be okay, and I don't think anyone's really allowed to help me, or they get into trouble. And that was true when I was little too. I'm just not coping very good. I don't feel like everything is alright. I shouldn't have to go through the same things as I did when I was little. I sent the Department of Justice a cease and desist and told them that they're acting in coercion with the entities and people that child sex trafficked me. And then I wondered if I wanted to, if it was safe, or if I was having bad psychology to send it. Like, because it made me feel like I was putting myself in more danger. But I just felt like I had to send it, and maybe I think there's someone good on the other side of the letter that would say, oh, this is bad, or I don't know. I'm afraid maybe that's not true, and it's just gonna get me killed. It's bad. And the system has raped me and done bad things to something
After a pretty rough night, the same thing happened last night. It was whenever I was trying to go to sleep, the private parts of my body began being burned again, and it felt like someone pushing out something inside of my body. So yeah, that's what I am up against today. But the abuse last night was pretty extreme. And your mouth feels just like my teeth are like pressed forward, and I don't know. It's a lot of strange things. I've been doing some research, I guess what it's called, organized stalking. I'm called a targeted individual. So it causes me to go into shock, and it's excruciatingly painful. Essentially, they wanted to keep an eye on me for a while, and I was like, okay, for how long? It's like, well, everyone can't be involved. But the things that I faced, so about my own safety, because the government's burning the private parts of my body.
Oh, you put your bag on the floor? No way.
Is it bad or is she not gonna float? But I don't care about it. You look good, huh? Don't worry, don't check your mirror. It's a bad.